Beer snobs, a rare class of person that doesn't drink beer for the taste or to get drunk. Frankly, I'd rather have my balls covered in salt and licked off by hungry goats than have a stick that large up my ass. We'll talk about that next on All Things Beer and Bacon. We all know them. A beer snob is someone who is the exact opposite of all that's great about beer. Beer is enjoyed by everyone in all walks of life because it's cheap, refreshing, and best of all, an equalizer. Complete strangers have a common ground and can enjoy sitting down talking over a beer while watching the game. But not the beer snob. A classic beer snob will only drink a Belgian, an IPA, or Imperial Stout and the like.
Can I get a Pooch Daddy Saison?
You guys got any Blue Caboose barley wine?
One doppelganger doppelbock.
They believe it's beneath them to drink anything else. They will also laugh to themselves when they see someone order anything else but a microbrew. In short, they're an asshole. Contrary to a beer snob, a beer lover will drink whatever his friends are drinking, sometimes picks his beer because of the funny-looking tap handle, and even simply asks the bartender for a recommendation. If you don't want to be a beer snob, then try some of these techniques. Never say a beer tastes bad. Never complain if service is slow. Never look down at someone else's choice of beer. And above all, never ever wear a sweater vest. Instead, always offer a friend a taste. Practice good beer karma and buy your friends around once in a while. Always finish your beer. Not only are there thirsty kids in the deep backwoods of China, but it's just polite. And last, tip your servers well and don't forget to say cheers.
In England, ale is ordered by pints and quarts. So in old England, when customers got unruly, the bartender would yell at them, "Mind your pints and quarts, and settle down." It's where we get the phrase "mind your P's and Q's."
If the full beard, or the way he swirls his beer glass around his nose doesn't give him away, you can spot a beer snob from across the bar by the things he says. While there's no official name for the language they speak, the language is nonetheless unique. For example, listen for the words quaffable, bouquet, and notes. Even though words in the English language already exist that mean the exact same thing, a beer snob will stick with this holier-than-thou, nose-in-the-air verbiage. For example, quaffable is just another word for drinkable. If you can drink it, then it's quaffable. Bouquet and notes.
To the nose we go.
Let's go ahead and stick our nose in it.
A snob's way of talking about the smell. It's not a dozen roses, and it's not music, it's beer. Mouthfeel.
But dude, the mouthfeel on this.
Mouthfeel. Mouthfeel is cool. Mouthfeel.
I don't think anyone really knows what this is. It's just become a part of the snob's vocabulary, and they think it's cool to say in public. Besides, the only mouthfeel that I'm interested in is from my girlfriend. And nobody talks like that in real life anyway, so why do it at a public bar? Besides, nobody asked.
Don't care. Don't care.
Just in case someone actually does ask about your beer, offer them a taste and be done with it. Meanwhile, take a sip, nod with approval, and then put your glass down and point your face meat back at the game on TV. Leave it at that, and everyone will be happy. Many a beer snob will try to convert you to whatever hip flavor of the week he happens to be drinking at the moment. Don't be afraid to try it out, but by all means don't feel pressure to buy into it. Every single person has a different palate. There's more than enough beer out there for everyone, and I won't judge yours if you won't judge mine. Boxes or briefs, granny panties or thongs, we all like what we like, and frankly, it's nobody else's business.
Still don't care.
Speaking of this or that, traditionally and for the record, there are only two styles of beer, ales and lagers, which are distinguishable by the types of yeast and the temperature and time of fermentation. So the next time a beer snob shows up with his handlebar mustache and attempts to impress you with his vernacular descriptions, ask him if it's an ale or a lager, and watch his eyes glaze over like a deer in headlights as he attempts to search for an answer. He'll probably blindly answer one or the other, but will often reply with neither, it's an IPA, or whatever. No self-respecting beer snob will ever let himself be torpedoed by a mere Bud Light drinker. He is, after all, and by definition, better than you and has a reputation to uphold. Smirk to yourself and enjoy how that one little victory makes your cheap-ass Bud Light taste even better now that Sir Quaff-A-Lot has been exposed. Some beer snobs are like an evangelist and are always trying to make a few converts. What, you weren't planning on drinking a 15% Russian Imperial Stout today? Some people simply don't care.
I don't care. I don't.
Some people will slurp down whatever frothy soup comes trickling down their sip hole, and that's fine. So don't roll your eyes when someone orders a Coors Light because, hey, they like what they like. That beer isn't going in your face anyway, so what do you care?
Hey, yeah, can I just get a pale ale?
A stale ale.
Christian Bale Ale.
Oh, that's hoppy.
Oh, yeah, it's real good. And it comes in a fedora.
Lots of beer snobs will brag. They'll brag about how many different beers they had, or the fact that they tried something so rare that there's no way a normal patron off the street even knows what a 17-year-old Chimay Blue Label even is. What they're really saying is, I am old and I feel the need to justify my massive beer consumption throughout my lonely, pitiful existence. Still, other beer snobs really are future candidates for a Darwin Award. I am particularly fond of the ones that bring up the fact that they've been cellaring a six-pack of this or that for 5 years and wonder if they should open it or sit on it longer. I always tell them to sit on it. I mean, it's only beer. It was meant to drink, and that obviously isn't going to happen if it's stashed away in your mom's basement next to a mop bucket and a crate of old socks. And while you're down there, maybe you can feed that wayward teen you have conveniently locked up. Drink the beer already, you idiot. Imagine for a second if we were talking about anything except beer. Would you walk around your office and say, "You bought those Converse high tops at Target? What the fuck's wrong with you? There's a guy making Jimmy Choo's right over there. At least go to the mall if you can't afford anything good." You'd be run out of that job like a Muslim woman at a Trump rally. Maybe this would be a good time to recap. While some beer snobs may actually know a thing or two about beer, unless somebody specifically asks, then the rest of us just don't care. The bottom line is, it's just beer. It was meant to be enjoyed, and no amount of arm twisting is going to make someone switch from their preferred beer of choice. They have to want to switch, and beer snobs are the exact reason that they don't. If we missed anything, be sure to leave it in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Thanks for watching All Things Beer and Bacon.